back to training. You don't need to have a mat or a Matthew in your dojo, in your place of training. I don't say the word exercise anymore, sorry, because there's enough demons in that word. Let's see. Well, it's just me. So I think the most important thing that an ignorant of martial art kind of person would need to know about martial arts is that the feet are often bare. Most traditional martial arts train without shoes on, and it's actually a healing property. You don't have to go very far before you realize just being barefoot and moving around is actually better for me than having shoes on. Now, if you have really sensitive feet, you're going to need to start softer, always begin gently. The secret of the Tong method is go slow, and when I mean slow, I mean slower than you can imagine. Take a decade to do it, right? Take a decade to do that and see, what does your body do? What happens as you have to, become a warrior at any moment? So we're going to go from relaxed to gentle pong. No ultimate squeeze at the end. Right? That's the whole way. If you do it the wrong way, you squeeze and you have to hurt them because you didn't have the gentle method. Okay, so this is the peaceful form of self-defense, Tongsau. I'm Charles Kindle. This art comes from many different arts. It's a conglomeration and a welcoming of your art too, because every true art has the same principles. And if you don't have the same principles, you should learn these principles and raise yourself up the martial art ladder, right? So first you have like competitive people, and then you have people that are totally scared, like they wouldn't do anything. And then you have people that are like, I just do the moves, man. Don't show me a conflict. Well, Shaolin is always about a conflict. There's always a conflict. So most conflicts are happening in your feet if you're standing up. And so the basics of Tong are to be okay with all of these postures. And sometimes you'll feel, well, I'm okay, but what do you mean by okay? And I mean like really, like Chen Mang Ching okay, So magical discipline level martial arts, right? This is for people who have practiced martial arts for 10, 30, 40 years, and you're coming to me because somehow you slipped and fell on YouTube. Anyway, this whole act of standing, you want to feel like you're just a kid again, and you want to feel the ground up into your shoulders so you can feel every toe movement, jiggle and wiggle, and basically it's the pung and chi reacting. Your balance is, you're trying to hold your balance. You want to learn to turn that off so they don't do this. So the way you do it is by extending them out really far, moving them around, and then saying nothing. And then you realize, no, I still have something in there. So standing posture will get rid of it. And, just wiggling around too. So not just standing still, but the twisting, the shaking, and the wiggling. So that's all you really need for this martial art. You don't need, specific arm movements. Although some of them are really fascinating, what you want to do is make them all empty or yang or yang. Kara is karate. So Tongsau is the word karate in Cantonese, if you didn't know that. Sao is the skill of the arm. And Tong is the dynasty. So it was what China was previously called before it's been vanished from existence. It wasn't called China, it was called Tong. And then the island of Tongsau, the hand of Tong, was Taiwan, and they wanted to change the name to Taiwan, and that was about 130 years ago or so. And so nobody remembers that Taiwan used to be called Tongsau, but there's cities in there that say it, and then the character Tongsau was also in the word karate first, and then in 1935 they erased it, and they said, so it's a big deal about this transfer of history and the transfer of knowledge as well that is permeated in today's social constructs of what we know about martial arts and such, that it is just flooded the earth with lies, lots of lies, not like big lies, but just the little ones that just make you think, oh, well, everything comes from China. Well, there was no China, so be careful how you say that. And the story kind of ties in with the fall of France and the monarchies on the planet, and how America became a country and how that works in prophecy. But not all of you here for that kind of stuff. But this is the Dr. Origin show. It is about life, the universe, and everything, and martial arts. So once you feel, for martial art portion of this, once you feel a little bit of a sensation change, that things have done something, what I want you to do is stop and try to be not whatever that was. Where you're not trying to keep your balance, you're just you again. It's just, there's no intentions here. Now hopefully you feel a little more saturated into the floor, and eventually you do that on concrete and hard surfaces, and you'll feel your toes begin to strengthen. And this is where you want to teach your foot Tai Chi. And then it goes all throughout your body. And once you've done that, and usually it takes about an hour with me to really understand Tai Chi. Once you've put your hands on it, you go, oh, that's what that means, okay. And it's hard over video, but if you get this over video, it's free for you. So the majority of the rest of healing, if you start with your feet, is you begin to move the knee at that same gentle pace, right? You just want something soft, not something big, just like I'm tiptoeing through the tulips. It's all fun. So I'm trying to feel for weaknesses. Where are they? I want to know right now and start to take an inventory. Yes, my feet. Yes, my hips. Yes, my shoulders. Oh, my neck. Yes, my arms. Oh, my hands. Whatever it is. Hopefully you have no pain and you have no idea what I'm talking about. And you want to get me to teach you more about fighting, but you're not here, so we can do that. So then you want to lift up and you want to feel the breaks in your balance, right? What keeps you from performing all of this? What is shaking in here? And why don't you stop and give it a little strengthening? And the way you strengthen, this is the secret, the $1 billion secret, is you want to strengthen it gently, because it's you, right? So I want to feel exactly where I'm feeling. Oh, what's this? In my right ankle. Oh, right? So if I could feel that up here throughout the wrist or my head, if I could feel the ankle, I could go right into the ankle and make me lose my balance, because I can feel all the way down to that foot. And it takes a while, but you get there. So you also want to do it on your knees too, because a man who doesn't go on down here is a fool. And this is onto your spine. Stretch your spine out every time you bow. So that's why most of the great arts have kneeling and bowing and even crossing the K1 point, who knows. But just from standing Zhangzhuang. Now you can do Mabu, Kibidachi, a horse stance in a bunch of different ways. I was programmed a certain way, and I don't agree or disagree with being programmed. The most important part is there's just different ways of doing it. So first is the one stance you're in. So that is your horse stance. So you're maybe standing on top of the horse, or you're just, you're literally riding the horse up here, and you could go all the way down, right? But you want to practice the smoothness of how well you go down, which angles you go down at. Can you do it here? Can you do it? And then it involves the complexity of the hips. So considering if you're all healed and your hips are good, then you can talk about the basic fundamentals of Tai Chi, which are just these rotating things, simple, gentle. And if your body can do them, then you can learn Tai Chi and do it and be fascinating in combat. If you can't do it, well then, you're not going to be that fascinating in combat. You're going to get hurt and you're going to, I can't do that move. Stretch, pull a muscle. Yeah, so that's what Tai Chi is reminding you, that everybody's on a journey of healing first and combat second. Why are you wanting to combat me? Yeah, so Tai Chi says, let's be at peace with the universe. Let's teach each other the basic fundamentals of rolling around this universe. Peng Lu Jian. And then let's be about our merry way. Or are we at war? Right? And the most fascinating war is the one you don't have to move for. So that's what a lot of the old Tai Chi styles do, is they don't have a footwork concept of fighting. Like that's not, to some old masters, if you think your footwork is going to save you from their stillness work, you're highly foolish. You've obviously never met a man that practices stillness, Qigong. Because they can see you coming from a mile away. One of the first teachers I trained with in Tai Chi was so amazing. He would barely move and people would just go flying. And you couldn't see him do it. It was like, what in the world did you just do? And I've done it myself. You put it on camera and it looks weird because it looks like I didn't do anything. But anyway, so it comes from stillness practice. I'm just gonna let this one go because you guys deserve a full class. What is this, 14 minutes? All right, we're gonna get into some serious stuff. All right, so number one, don't move from your stance. roll back onto your knees until they feel like they're going to have stress. Remember, you don't want to ever push too far. This, for me, is easy, right? This is the, right? So this is, I don't even feel that. What do you mean? I mean, no, I might feel it after about an hour maybe, but this is easy. So you want to make your body do these things, the easy things. So one of the first things you want to learn is about the bubble of pung. So there's a first bubble of pung. It usually goes below your feet, and it's just you dead. Imagine if you're just dead weight. What's that bubble of effect, right? And for some people, it's extended by the mind, like, ooh, oh, I don't do it like that, but if you do it just with, I can't do it with just my mind yet. Okay, so physically, you do it that way, if you could feel that. So my whole body's responding to this downward pressure of, maybe it's just this kind of pressure. And I'm just going, and I'm picking it back up. But not with much energy, just with this, you're playing with water, my friend. You've just put your hands in water. What are you doing now? And then you begin to join and adhere to them like molasses, and they can't figure out where they end and you begin. And at that moment, you send them on their, oh man, that's the way I wanted to go, but I thought I was going to take him. So sometimes chokes, when a person goes to choke you, a standard technique of escape would be, well, fight immediately. But what usually ends up happening is, if you force here and here, you'll get this just pung failure because you twisted it so far. And it's really hard to strengthen your body, leave this on the ground. So, a lot of times it's a hoot move and then a step. But if you try to go forward when you're in shock, you can really jar your spine. You get to this E, right? Well, I tried. Oh, what happened? So then my mind didn't work through it. So I thought I could do it, but something prevented me. So there's things in your body that prevent you from being able to do stuff. And so this, doing the forms and moving, they kind of find them. But the better way to do it is this basic twisting. So you would posture your arm, say, in a wrist lock. So this could be a wrist lock for me, or a shoulder lock. You can see how it throws my shoulder forward. Right, so now it just becomes this play of pung from here to here. And I realize, oh, right here it would begin to turn me. And I begin to relax my spine instead of fight. So that choke, as somebody might come around here, would look like this. Because there's my frightening, right? I'm trying to give you exactly what you want. And what that ends up looking like is, they go like this, and they just get immediately hit with this rotating force right on the angle of where their intention was to go and corkscrew into you. And they're gonna lose their knee, or they're gonna have to fall because they're getting the rear of that wrist lock, that choke of the So we put ourselves in these postures to find the alternate snake routes to these locks. And when you find them, you know, it might be an interesting travel to the opponent. Because they might find, well, that's my intent, my line of intent is right there. So if you throw it back on me, I lose everything because my whole body is kind of twisted into this form. And that form, we like to describe it in Tongsau as a tree. So I'm a root and a trunk and the tree branches. And it's, what kind of tree are you? Are you a walnut tree? You know, where, you know, it'll break? Or is it oak? Strong as oak, don't punch that, right? Or is it just pine? Bling. If it's pine, I can break 6 inches of pine. So, but 6 inches of walnut or oak, no, I'm not gonna even try that. No way. The human body has limitations. Tai Chi, right? So the limitation, that's pung. What's your limitation? Pung. And the level is E. Man, these are just stupid words. Right? So if I do this, and it just looks like water, but you didn't realize it's actually an iron bar. But it looks like water. That's why it's a secret art. So all I'm doing is this. But what I'm doing is, it's like, imagine if I was holding myself up from my wrists. Just like my feet weren't here, right? They're just floating in water. Like, you know, walk on water. And I just have these floating things that can go up and down, right? And what I'm actually doing is I'm holding myself on these platforms here, right? So I can make it look like I'm walking on nothing because I'm actually holding myself up here. Now, in the magic act, what you have to do is be able to make it look like your hands are rolled. They could be bricks, for instance, right? They could be these gray bricks or white, green bricks, whatever. And you couldn't see them because of the fact that maybe they were only this big, and I was hiding them from your view. And they raise up, so it doesn't look like they're just still, and I'm like, I'm floating on water, I'm walking on water, but for some reason my hands are still. So you have these moving at different rates to make it look like. So now, if I was absolutely holding myself up by my hands, you couldn't tell if I had my weight in my feet or not. And then if I was able to roll my hands at the same time and put all my weight in my elbows, or all my weight in my knee, or all my weight in my feet, or all my weight in and I'm just this rolling ball of water that you have to try to catch in a paper cup. Anyway, so that's one of the basics. Be like water. And that's why a lot of people do breath work, because big breath out, little breath. And then you're just kind of shaking the inside of the cup, which is probably the fastest. But you get tired of doing that, so I like to do the standing. Times one, find your center, spread out all of your vertebrae, pung up, out, then begin to turn them, shake them, twist them, find weakness in you. Where is your weakness? And then get rid of it. And I'll see you guys all next week or whenever. Who cares, right? Who's watching the show?